Good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriel Jacquez, and I'm a student here at Richmond Community College. And today I want to talk to you guys about the $1 billion game. And despite what you may be thinking, the $1 billion game that I'll be talking about is college sports. But not just the sports themselves, but the athletes that play in them. The truth of the matter is that national college games are a $1 billion game. The NCAA reported in 2019 making $18 billion in revenue from a year of college games. $18 billion. That is enough in today's society to completely set you up and your grandkids for life without ever having to work. But let's actually look at how this affects the athletes. Many of us envision this full ride scholarship that we can achieve if we truly commit ourselves to the game. But what is that full ride scholarship? For those of you who don't know, the NCAA not only regulates how college athlete games are played and the rules within them, but they also regulate how colleges can reward the athletes. And so we're going to see how the NCAA actually regulates the full ride scholarship. As you see, the full ride scholarship is tuition, books, and room and board only. And for those of you who have been looking at your kind of college reports, if you will, know that this, though helps, is not the full ride that you have been led to believe. This full ride does not include the meal plans. It does not include the transportation. It does not include the fees. It does not include the insurance. And let me reiterate on insurance that these students are not regular students who are living their day-to-day lives. These students are also training every single day, twice a day, and are putting their bodies through immense amount of stress. So it's understandable that their insurance is actually higher than usual. And the only thing that these colleges can cover is tuition, books, and room and board only, because that is what the NCAA requirements allow students to be covered by from colleges. And another thing we need to look at is how other students at different colleges are able to receive stipends. They're able to receive grants and scholarships because they're able to commit more to different extracurriculars. A perfect example is the ROTC programs that many colleges have. These students are given monthly stipends on top of drill pay that college athletes are not given, even though, in my opinion, that they are putting in almost double the amount of work that any other student does. But let's look into how this is really affecting the students. Let's first talk about the struggles for a student athlete. Many of them struggle with time management. If you look at the daily schedule of a student athlete, waking up at 5 in the morning, working out until 9, going to class from 9 to 2, and then from 2 to 7 working out again. This is only leaving you so much time to actually get your work done. Even though you're in class from 9 to 2, many of us know that this is not enough time to get all the work done that you're given in class. So a lot of us, when we get back home, we get to work. But these students can't, because once they get out of class, they're going straight to workouts from 2 to 7 for most of them. That is 5 hours after class to work out and give it your all. You're reviewing film, you're running drills, you're working out, you're practicing. And then these students have to come home and they have this pile of work to do, and this really gives them time management struggles. And then we got to look at the financial burdens. As I recently mentioned, these students are not being covered in the way that we've always assumed. So because many of them are solely dedicated to sports and school, a lot of them are not able to get jobs and have little to no income coming in. And even though this full ride scholarship takes out a decent chunk of their student loan debts, this does not cover everything. So many of them are coming out with student debt after the fact, and this gives them a huge financial burden. And lastly, I want to talk about the impact on their mental health. With these two main contributing factors constantly weighing on them, balancing out their everyday lives on top of the fact that they need to also figure out ways to pay for college, this highly impacts their mental health and truly does affect their stressors. These are two major stressors, and I believe all of us would agree that this is extremely impactful on someone. And then on top of the fact that you got to balance all of this as a 19-year-old or to a 23-year-old, this can really wear down on your mental health. But let's look at financials and compensations. Many athletes can't even receive the full scholarship or the full ride, which in my opinion leaves them undercompensated, because many of them don't have jobs. They have zero to no income. Many of them can't afford their meal plans and the other expenses, as I previously mentioned. And right now I'm pulling up a chart that shows scholarships compared to their tuition. Many of them are paying a little over $20,000 a year for tuition, and the athletic scholarship only covers about 10 grand of that. That leaves 15 grand uncovered. And for those students who don't have jobs or can't go out and get other scholarships because they're fully committed to the sport, this lack of compensation that these students get, it truly does create quite an impact. And these are how I suggest we change this, we fix this. Number one is giving them their NIL rights, their name, image, and likeness rights. This is when the college is selling their jersey with their name on it, selling their numbers, selling pictures of them, their posters, the sponsorships that these students can get. These students need to be compensated for that. I also believe that the NCAA needs to allow higher scholarships for better performers. I understand that a lot of us would agree that full tuition paid is a little excessive for a student who's just walked on. But as a student progresses throughout the year and a student proves that they are a better performing student, I believe that it's only fair to allow these students to actually receive higher scholarships, as you prove that you are not only handling your grades but handling the sport as well. And I also believe that we need to provide them incentives. Many colleges have them that, hey, if you can stay consistent and rock an A, B average throughout the year, that you can be paid more. That is how it is for a lot of ROTC programs. And I believe, lastly, a way to remedy this lack of financial compensation for student athletes is to allow them to be traded. And that does sound a little off, but this is a very common practice amongst the NFL, the WNBA, and the NBA to trade players. And I believe colleges should be allowed to do that as well, and that these students should be allowed to be a part of that decision. And if a college is offering them better compensation, these students should be allowed to be traded and transferred to these schools. And I believe this is the best way to remedy the fact that many of these students are underpaid and aren't given the compensation that they deserve. Right here I have a chart that shows how the athletic department, what they spend. And as you can see, the blue is what these coaches and the staff are being paid, how much is going into them. And then in the orange, you can see how much goes to the building and the grounds and the property that these students work on. And then you see how much actually goes to scholarships. And if I remember right, this is based off of a $1,000 scale. So $55,000 goes into paying our coaches for Texas. $25,000 goes into the property, and only $10,000 actually goes to paying for these scholarships. And this is across the board. As you can see, in these very famous and high-performing colleges that are known for giving it their all when it comes to sports, are not covering the students as adequately as they need to be. But if anyone has any questions, please reach out to me. You can find me at the RCC Scotland campus. But if any of you don't have any questions, I highly thank you for coming to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something today. And I hope you can spread the awareness that the student athletes we need to make an effort to compensate them. We need to make an effort to make the change for these athletes. So thank you all.